All right, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining us for this edition of the TSJG Neighborhood News. Today is June 11th, 2020, and I'm Jessica Lopez. I'll be your host for the next hour. As a reminder, please use the chat feature at the bottom of your screen, and at the end of the presentation, I will field or the other directors will field any questions that you might have. So please just type them as we go so we can make sure we respond in kind at the duration of our time together. And once we conclude the formal presentation, just a reminder to mute yourself so that we can not pick up those background noises and make sure everyone can be heard. So as always, we want everyone to stay safe and stay well during this time. And I wanted to get started with a COVID update. So as of June 10th, 2020, total COVID-19 cases in Fresno County is 2,318. That's up 32 from the previous day. 68 travel-related, 1,091 close contact, 879 community spread, 280 of those are under investigation. Total deaths is now up to 49, up 1 from the previous day. 241 have ever been hospitalized, and 685 have now recovered in cumulative numbers. Total individuals being monitored to date by the Fresno County Department of Public Health is 4,513, and currently they are monitoring 1,511. Interesting note, we've heard that sheriffs are actually now responding to individual homes if they have been told by the Fresno County Department of Public Health that this individual is under quarantine, they are positive for COVID. Sheriffs are now going out to reinforce that message that these people cannot leave their homes during this quarantine period so that we can really try to control that community spread throughout Fresno County. So folks are working in conjunction to do everything they can to keep this community safe. For San Joaquin Gardens, a lot of activity to report. So as of today, we still have 0 positive cases. We have 1 team member that's being tested for COVID. It is off campus until those results are returned to us. And then as you remember from our last presentation, we conducted COVID mass testing in our Village Healthcare Center. So today, we tested 45 residents and 5 team members. So we should have the results of that mass testing next week. Again, that's in conjunction with direction from the California Department of Public Health, who's asking us to do these mass testings as a baseline so they can understand where skilled nursing facilities stand in terms of COVID activity. So that's our current update at San Joaquin Gardens. Our cumulative data as of today, June 11th, we've still only had the 2 positive cases, 1 team member, 1 resident, both have fully recovered. To date, we have 55 individuals that have undergone testing. And so we will continue to add our cumulative data. So that total PUI cases is going to jump dramatically because of that mass testing that's being done across the board there. So we should see some numbers increase in terms of PUI cases to date because those will count there. Again, as a reminder, COVID-19 symptoms, CDC has not added any new symptoms to their list for quite some time, but I think that's because there's pretty much all the symptoms possible are currently listed. So fever, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, chills, muscle pain, sore throat, loss of taste or smell, or gastrointestinal symptoms like diarrhea or vomiting or nausea. So again, a myriad of symptoms associated with COVID-19, no particular order in which they might come. So each individually or obviously more than one would be highly concerning and would most likely warrant a COVID-19 test. So as I mentioned earlier, today we tested all of the residents in the Village Healthcare, which was 45 individuals. So we didn't know how many people we'd have because of admissions, et cetera. So there were 45 residents in our village today. So all 45 were tested. The team members will be tested tomorrow and Saturday. So myself and Valerie and Julie will be here and making sure that goes well. Again, this is per the California Department of Public Health requirements. And this is because in true communal settings, which has shared workers, shared airspace, et cetera, that's been the highest number of cases and fatalities. So they really are trying to be proactive and getting a baseline of testing in those arenas and then doing ongoing testing in those arenas so that they can keep that risk for spread to a minimum. Again, a friendly reminder, if you have symptoms or if you're being tested for COVID-19, please inform Valerie Epps or Carol Freeman so that we can track those results. Nothing makes Valerie more nervous than when she gets a call from the Fresno County Public Health saying that they have results for her and she didn't know a test had been taken. So please, please, please inform us. Mask guidelines. So we were talking earlier about this. There's quite a few, what shall we say, creative masks that are happening throughout the world. And this is a funny take on that, but let's all just keep to the semi-professional look and not the bank robber or others would be helpful. Wear your mask to protect others. I know we keep repeating this, but there are just the basic things that will help protect us from COVID-19. So whether you're on campus or you're off campus, wear your mask. It's going to, and if all of us, I mean, I really wish the state would just make it mandatory that in California you wear masks at all times. I don't get why we're not pushing that, because all the studies are showing that it does help prevent the spread of COVID-19. I've talked to many of you who have gone off campus to different events, and you've been surprised by the folks that aren't wearing masks. So please, please, please wear your mask. I tell your kids to wear their masks, tell your grandkids to wear their masks. It's just so important that all of us just hunker down, do these basic precautions so that we can protect ourselves and others during this time. That's why my hat really goes off to Costco for drawing a line in the sand and saying you are not entering Costco unless you have a mask. And I think, I know they got some bad press for it, but they, I think, got more great press from it because they did what that was right, even if it was hard. And I think it was a great thing to do. So again, as a reminder, please wear your masks when you are going to Spa Bella. They are required by the county that you wear them at all times, even during your service. So even during hair washing, which I know is kind of awkward, when you're picking up your meals, when you're waiting in line to pick up your meals, when you're going to your message boxes, when you're answering your door, when you're walking around campus, when you're using transportation. Basically, when you're not in your apartment, you should be wearing your mask. And just for the protection of yourself and others. So again, please wear your masks, but wanted to remind folks that if for some reason you forget your mask or you need an extra mask, they are at the concierge desk if needed. So in case you didn't get the theme of the last few slides, please wear your mask and do so properly. Want to remind folks about hand washing, which is so important for all of us during this time to prevent the spread of COVID. We touch, I think, if anything, this whole experience of this pandemic has really taught us how much we touch and how often we touch our faces. And as I go to do so right now. So please wash your hands and don't be like Billy, who is pretending to wash his hands there in the family circus. Again, this goes without saying, but the whole point of this slide is if you are sick, if you are feeling any sort of symptoms, stay home, because that's when you're most at risk of spreading COVID-19. So if you're sick, stay home, try to stay 6 feet away from folks. But the main mode of transmission still is through those respiratory droplets. So it is so important that we physically distance and folks stay home if they're sick. Another reminder about physical distancing. So some reopening guidelines to review with all of you. So again, we are in phase 2 as the state of California, working towards phase 3, which is going to open up movie theaters and some of the other larger venues. So that I'm shocked again by how quickly they're moving through these phases. We could have a debate about who agrees and doesn't agree, but that's the reality of where we are. We're going to be doing some training for our team members, reminding them that if anything they do outside of these walls, they bring back with them to work. So it's so important that they aren't, running around without a mask and frequenting bars and movie theaters and everything else. Again, we can't mandate what happens outside of work, but we do want to stress to all of our residents and all of our team members to be a good neighbor here at TSJG and be careful when outside of our walls and, of course, in our walls to prevent the spread of COVID-19. We're still getting a lot of pushback about visitation guidance, a lot of phone calls from family members. And I just want to remind you all that the restriction on visitation is not from Human Good, that it is not only the California Department of Social Services, but the Fresno County Department of Health has issued again a reiteration of the limiting of visitation for senior care facilities such as ours because of the risk posed to this population. So they really are saying that it's end of life visitation or for severe emotional distress. If that is needed, then they will allow visitation. And until we receive guidance, otherwise we are following that mandate. So again, we actually, Valerie's going to be putting a phone message on her phone reiterating the guidelines that we're following, that there is no change to visitation, because every time something changes in the greater world in terms of now bars are open, we get flooded with phone calls saying, okay, well, everything else is opening, why aren't you? And some family members are calling every day to check to see if things are changed. Please let your families know that we will tell all of you as soon as we know. We will tell all of them as soon as we know. But we are going to go ahead and update that on her voicemail so that she doesn't have to have the same conversation, 10 to 15 times a day with various family members about this. And I know it breaks my heart. I know that they want to be with you all. And, I wish this wasn't the case, but we have to follow the ordinances and we have to understand that those are there for a reason, for safety purposes, obviously. So again, these are the regulatory bodies that we report to. There's no shortage of them, but we're constantly checking with all the various stakeholders that provide regulatory oversight to the terraces in San Joaquin Gardens to make sure we're operating within those standards. It can get quite confusing, and I'm very grateful to the Community Support Center at Human Good for helping us kind of navigate our way through this. But they all provide oversight. So we're not a bar that as soon as the state says we can open, we can start serving drinks. We have various regulatory bodies that we have to check with for all the changes that we make operationally. So we are currently in phase 2 here at San Joaquin Gardens. We are working towards phase 3. But again, that will come with those various regulatory bodies giving us approval to do so. So right now we have approval for the salon to open, but we don't have approval for the gym. So, we're working through all of those various caveats with the state and other regulatory bodies. So on that note, this is where we're at from a reopening standpoint. So as you know, dining, we started pickup on June 4th. The salon was able to open on June 9th with some restriction and guidelines in place. Transportation has reopened on June 9th, most specifically the tram, and we'll talk more about that later. The pool has released approval For this Friday, June 12th, we're going to be putting some additional provisions in place, but that will be opened with restrictions fairly soon. For group activities, for visitation, and for the gym, all of those are not approved and are waiting for the Department of Social Services approval to open them. So we are still, they were supposed to give us some guidance this week. They have said that they will not be doing so because they have not been able to get through all of the regulatory bodies they have to check with through the state of California. So we will keep you apprised of that situation. Again, our local edict team, which is made up of directors and some residents, will be helping create the platforms for which we safely reopen some of our activities and common area usage. As we open these, we will communicate it through this forum as well as through Touchtown and the other various platforms of communication. And then, of course, that may change based on COVID activity on our campus. So all of these individuals will be receiving a form to look at their activity and or their committee and reimagine how that will look in this COVID-19 environment. So they will receive a form that looks like this, that they'll basically work through to determine how to safely reopen during this time. So, you know, how will they maintain, you know, physical distancing? How will they do infection control? Is there additional equipment that needs to be purchased? You know, will they need additional support during this time? How will they manage residents coming and going, et cetera? Again, we're doing this as pre-work in anticipation that the Department of Social Services approves us to resume group activity. So all of you who chair a various committee and or our activity team members will receive kind of a form walking you through the process for resuming your activity, service, or utilizing that venue. So again, these will all be placed in the appropriate committee chairs' message boxes tomorrow. And then if any of those chairs have questions or need help, we can, the edict committee or I can work with you as you walk through the form. As I mentioned earlier, the CDC guidelines for the hair salon and barber shop just recently came forward, allowing us to resume. So Spa Bella opened on Tuesday. They will be working Tuesday through Saturday, 8:30 to 5 by appointment only, offering the various services. Joan is going to be returning on Monday, June 15th. She will only be working on Mondays for about 6 hours until further notice, and that is her choice. And again, as with the others, it's by appointment only. Again, as a reminder, both the team member and the resident will be wearing masks during all times of the service. It cannot be removed at any time, and only one resident at a time for hair needs so that we can maintain that physical distancing. And we have some tape on the floor, et cetera, to kind of indicate that. So again, do not come to that appointment early. If so, you might be asked to sit outside because really only one resident can be there and they have to leave before you can come in, and we have to sanitize that area. So we just ask that you, for your patience and your understanding as we work through this process. The CDC is still, and the state still have not released full nail services as of yet. So we're still just doing nail trimming and nail filing for hygiene related services only. We've just received transportation guidelines that are pretty basic, but again, disinfecting between each rider, protective wear must be worn by both the team member and the resident. One resident or two of the same household can be in the same vehicle. You'll see in a moment we've made some modifications for the tram to allow for more passengers. Maximum vehicle capacity has been changed, again, based on the distancing requirements. Appointments will be needed to allow time for the driver to properly transport the resident to and from the appointment, and then also sanitize in between. So again, we ask for your patience. We may ask you to reschedule appointments because we just don't have enough to accommodate during that time, because we're not going to be able to do as many services due to these additional layer of time that we will need between appointments. Fresno County has just also given some guidance for reopening pools. So this Friday, June 12th, the pool will be reopened, and that will be for swimming, like laps only. We are not allowed to reopen for water aerobics until the Department of Social Services allow group activity to occur. So you will not have to wear face coverings while in the pool, but when to and from the pool, you have to sign up for pool usage at the concierge desk. And if you want to have a standing time, that's fine too. But again, you can work that out with the concierge desk. There's equipment for you to sanitize. We will be sanitizing as well, and we are going to be installing lane markers to try to help folks with that physical distancing, so that there's no overlap there. And those lane markers should be here in a couple of weeks. So again, this doesn't mean the resumption of water aerobics. It means be able to resume some swimming and some laps on your own accord, cannonballs, whatever you might want to do. But we will communicate to you at a later date in terms of the water aerobics classes. We wanted to also inform you that Jennifer Cherenabanoff, our billing specialist who works right up here next to me, is leaving. She is moving and relocating. Her last day will be June 24th with us. Her departure also means we're losing our notary. So we will not have notary services available to our residents. We are working to find a new team member that we can train and get authorized to become a notary to provide that service to our residents. So we'll keep you apprised as to when this service will be available again to all of you. But after June 24th, we will not have notary services until we get a new team member trained to replace Jennifer. Our census independent living currently is at 89%, assisted living at 88%, memory support at 96%, and skilled nursing at 85%. I received one resident that emailed saying that yes, they would love to give a testimonial or do a video testimonial or write something, and I sent that on to our sales office. So again, if you are appreciative of the services and all that is TSJG, and you would like to be an ambassador for us, please contact our sales team or myself to let us know so that we can help you to advocate for our community, because we're going to really need to market ourselves in new and different ways during this time. So we appreciate all the help and support that you can give. As always, if you have friends that live outside of the community and you're like, what are you waiting for? You need to be here where it's safe. Please send those to our sales office as well. Alexis, are you on the call? Am I to click this button to show this video?
You're welcome to. The video is about a 5-minute video, so it's up to you with time. You would click the link below if you want to view it.
Okay.
Usually control and click.
I don't think it turns out well when we record it or over Zoom, but I'm going to try it just for a few minutes. But these, we've done a myriad of videos, both with the sales team members hosting them. They had me host one. They've taken great visuals of the campus, and they are working with their leads and showcasing this through this kind of virtual way for them to see the campus when they can't be on the campus. So I'll try to show it for one quick second. If it doesn't work, oh gosh, this.
It's likely opened up on another tab, Jessica.
It's not showing.
No.
Well, I'm just gonna stop doing that. And now I can't seem to stop it. It just won't stop. Stand by. Be quiet, please. Okay, we will go back to that. Thank you. Can everybody see the screen now? Is that okay?
Yes, we can see the screen.
So we're excited to announce that Chef Mike will be being featured on Touchtown Channel 88. He will be providing a teaching kitchen for all of you in the comfort of your own living room. So at 11:30 and 2 p.m. on Sunday, June 14th, tune into Channel 88 to watch Chef Mike, who will be doing a teaching kitchen. And as it's Flag Day, he'll be showing you how to make strawberry shortcake. He'll be making a red, white, and blue strawberry shortcake. So tune in to Channel 88 and watch Chef Mike dazzle you with his culinary prowess and make some strawberry shortcake. June 17th is National Picnic Day. Dining will be serving a special picnic basket lunch that day. So we'll be serving cold fried chicken with Creole mustard sauce. Oh, come on, you guys. Farfel pasta salad. That doesn't sound right. Broccoli slaw, I can say that one. Watermelon and an apricot orange bar. So Wednesday, June 17th, if you normally don't get lunch on that day because there is a special menu, if you'd like to have lunch in lieu of dinner or in addition to dinner, please, please, please contact the dining department because you really don't want to miss that farfel pasta salad. In our lodges, oh, there was no update apparently. Okay. For Brian, our Director of Building and Grounds, we wanted to let you know that the tram is up and running again, starting today. The tram is now running during meal pickup times from 11 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. and 3:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. So you will see on the next slide that it's been slightly modified. So there are dividers in place both in the middle and in front of each rider. Those plexiglass shields will be sanitized in between each rider. Again, so that's going to slow our progression of being able to go around. Everybody should be wearing masks when they're in there, but we're excited to have our tram up and running. And thank you to Daniel and team for creatively coming up with the solution so that we could allow more than one rider in the tram at any given time. So won't it be nice to be back in the tram again? So we've also begun unfurloughing our drivers in anticipation of increased transportation needs. We're seeing more transportation requests come through. So we've unfurloughed some folks so that we can make sure we're properly providing that service to all of you. In order to accommodate your needs, you do need to make that reservation at least 48 hours in advance. And we do encourage residents to schedule their transportation request the same day that the appointment is made, so get in as soon as possible. So, you know, just don't wait to get that in so that we can have that transportation booked on our calendar. We've heard from all of you that things are getting a little trashy around here. So due to high levels of disposal, we are increasing the frequency of pickup at all areas on campus. So I think there's a lot of containers and taking up more space than ever before. So we've increased the number of times we do pickup so that we won't have any unnecessary overflow. Sequoia Elevator number 2 is currently down for maintenance. We anticipate this project will take 3 to 4 weeks. It should be back up and running the first week in July. So we apologize for the interruption in service, but elevator number 2 in Sequoia is currently out of service. Some of you had asked what's going on in Speranza. So this is where our salad bar used to sit. As we've discussed in other meetings, we decided not to put the salad bar in place to increase the area for which we can allow for physical distance dining once we're able to move to that phase. So we went ahead and fully tiled that wall. That little box build out that you see there in the middle of your screen is some of the necessary infrastructure that is there to add for the necessary refrigeration and electrical and other needs. So rather than take those out or cap them off and then have to plumb that at a later date, we decided to kind of build a box around it. We will put some a tile kind of on top of that so you can't see in it. I don't want people to think it's a wishing well and start throw quarters in there, although that might be a new revenue stream too. But this is how we'll look, and we will utilize it during this time of COVID in this way. And then once we are through with COVID, please, Lord, we will reopen the salad bar at a later date when it's safe to do so. Again, we're not seeing a lot of message boxes being cleared, so please share with your neighbors that if they can't get their items out of their message box, to let us know, and we will go and bring that to them on a weekly basis. So that is going to be our predominant form of communication, in addition to Touchdown and, of course, these Zoom calls. Again, the Father's Day parade. So Father's Day is Sunday, June 21st, and we couldn't do something for the mothers and not do it for the fathers. So we will be hosting a Father's Day parade. So please tell your children and your friends and your family and your loved ones that if they would like to participate in the parade and decorate labels and to sing songs on more, to please call 430-8216 and make a reservation so that we can schedule them to take part in our parade. They will be screened at the tent, and we'd ask them to remain in their vehicle. So any gifts they want to drop off, we will do so at the screening tent, and then we will deliver them to you. The parade shows between 10 and 1 on one slide, and then it says between 10 and 3. So is the parade from 10 to 1?
That's 10 to 1. 10 to 1.
Same slide, but we have modified the time. It will be from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. so that we can have the maximum number of parade happening versus long distant time frames where between cars, which kind of happened last time. So it was less parade-like and more like intermittent driving. So please tell your loved ones to RSVP. It was a lot of fun last time, and I hope this time it turns out well again. Happy birthday to Ann Thaxter. Today is her birthday. So Ann, if you were on the call, the happiest of birthdays to you, my friend. I hope you're drinking and enjoying your special day. Joan Logan's birthday is tomorrow. How exciting. So a big happy birthday to Joan. And again, we want to continue to wish all of our June babies the happiest of birthdays. So Ann and Joan, happy birthday, my friends. We will be celebrating our June birthdays on the third Thursday of this month. So that will be June 18th at 12 p.m. for those special select elite groups. Since we have the smallest birthday numbers in June, you will get an invitation. And if you'd like to join, you can do so over Zoom, where we'll eat together and toast one another. And then everybody will be receiving a special lunch that day in honor of all of our June babies. Again, as a reminder, and thank you to everybody. This is so much fun. I love seeing all of the articles and cartoons and the musings that you're sending me. I still have yet to anyone draw their own cartoon or something, and so I'm hoping for something like that to come, but please continue to send your articles, cartoons, and musings. We are using them in this call, in our newsletter, and on Touchdown. We need it all. We need funny stuff, interesting stuff, so please feel free to share your creative writings, like the poem that we saw with Chick. Wes Mitchell has been amazing as our roving reporter, and he is doing a great job, and we're using a lot of his stuff in our weekly newsletter, so please continue to send it our way. We need all of our reporters out there sending us material so we can make sure these calls and those newsletters are a good use of your time and have really strong content. So we appreciate all of you for sharing this information with us. A resident tidbit. So a resident submitted this to us, and do you remember the TV ad with the two Texas cowboys that were holding a bottle of hot sauce, and they said hot sauce, taco sauce made in New York City? Does anybody remember that? New York City? That's how I remember them saying it. Well, they're holding a Gardens milk carton labeled Sonoma Dairy, but the address is in Petaluma. Petaluma for years was advertised as the egg basket of the world. Donut shops here from Modesto, which this person finds acceptable, but Petaluma, what do you suppose in shipping time, the cost to customers from the northeast side of San Francisco Bay all the way down here? Why can't we be using producers? Why can't producers beat that? It's maybe the Petaluma folks have figured out how to get milk from a chicken. So one never knows, but again, things that make you say, So again, some interesting tidbits sent from residents. So as I said, people are getting creative with their masks. So I'm not sure, but the milk jug container, stay home, stay safe. He's invented his own scuba gear. It's really not going to protect him much from COVID. And I don't know about the guy on the right who's going to be going into bars. I think if I saw that, I would run in fear. But lead me not into temptation. No, who am I kidding? Follow me. I know the shortcut, which isn't that true. And then finally, when you hear the neighbor cough, you see the cat and the startled expression, and that's so true. I love the one in the middle. Look, Ma, a human. And they say, ew, don't touch that. It carries diseases. They carry diseases. And then finally, when dog groomers go into lockdown and customers are left to their own devices, this is the result. And on that note, when the barbers are in lockdown and Jessica is left to her own devices, this is the end result. So the before and after. Poor, doesn't he look happy? I have such a happy customer there in my haircutting expertise. And I don't know if you can see it, but there is quite a discrepancy between the length on the side there. I was learning how to use the clippers, and you can tell. So I heard Dennis's laugh. So again, the hunt for the gnome. The gnome is relocated every Friday. So continue to do your walking. It is so important for your health to get out in that fresh air. Take your walks in the morning or in the evening, or when it's just not so hot. But as always, we draw the winner live on the today's Zoom call. This is our 6th round of hunting for the gnome. So Dennis, are you ready to pick our winner?
Oh, I am.
All right.
This week we have 20 entrants,
Woo.
which means either that a lot more of our residents are getting out and walking, or somebody didn't do a very good job of finding them this week. One of the two. All right, so here we go. I mixed them up. Dropped one. See what we got. Piazza 310.
It doesn't have a name.
It does. Kit Baxter.
Oh, Kit. Congratulations, Kit. You will get your gnome cookies. And you to the concierge. They'll be really like in the message box. So congratulations, Kit. And with that, I will